Well, whether it's the best or the worst, let's introduce these players as spawning. Up here in the top position of Pillars of Gold, oh, he is Stats for A Freak of TV.
And the Afrika Freaks. And his opponent in the bottom left, in the red, he is representing my team, Team Exxon. He is Special. So I'm rather excited about that one. Just saying, you know, we got my team's got a player in at the very least in Code A. Hopefully he qualifies back to Code S. But I'm gonna. Granted, of course, you know, Alpha X. They got Joon. They got Ragnarok. They got multiple players.
Yeah, we got you
Code
beat
S,
there
though.
by about 2 to 3 players, but it is all good. Anytime you can see a foreigner kind of make these little bits of runs in these tournaments is always really cool. Because remember, it was very recent overall that we actually did see foreigners start to win Korean tournaments. We had Neeb take that super tournament back in 2018, I believe. And then we had Scarlet winning the Pyeongchang Cup, which was actually the Olympics. So, you know, that's kind of when we started to see the little advantage that KR had start to go downhill a little bit.
I mean, I think Korea certainly has the advantage. Now, granted, yeah, we have Clem, we have Rainer, we have Cyril. And they're all sitting at the top of the table. But, after that, it is still very Korean dominant. Yeah, Scarlet can win some games on occasion. Yeah, Neeb or Estrella can win some games on occasion. But it's really, you got those top 3 players from Europe, and then the rest of it is, once again, just Korean dominant all the way down.
Now, it looks like we are going to be going for a bit of a 3 racks opening here from Special. He does have that second base or racks down, as well as going to get that engineering bay. I guess that could be for a little bit of safety, as well as going up to that +1. On a stats side of things, we do have the Twilight Council coming down. Whether that's for a defensive blink or some sort of aggression is yet to be seen, but let's keep an eye on it.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is an interesting build we see coming on in here from Special. It's not the builds that say Beyond has been going for, where you get a quick third and you get a bunch of barracks and you go from there. But yeah, this is just going to be a 2 barracks +1 timing coming in from Special. You're going to get stim. You're going to get +1. You're going to try to get something done with that. Probably actually, sorry, when I say +2 barracks, I mean like kind of like a 2-1-1 setup. It's kind of what you normally see with that. And we're going to have to see exactly whether it's going to work out. It's pretty good against the greedier styles. It's maybe not quite as good against, say, a blink timer, just because of when you get the units out. But that's not what it's going to be. It is, of course, going to be a Dark Shrine coming on up here from Stats. And how do you feel about the Invisible Men, Pastor?
I hate them with a passion, and I sincerely wish that they were nerfed into the ground, just like every other Terran unit in existence. But past that, they can be very fun to watch. As, you know, we have seen Terran players kind of play it a little bit more defensively against them, as they usually do get that, you know, they get that, what do you call it, Raven up a little bit earlier. They get the missile turrets just to stay safe, regardless of what may be coming. And, you know, I think this actually comes down to, this is a little bit of a harsh situation for him, because he will not have that Raven. He's gonna have to rely on scans, and 2-base scans when you're also trying to mule, trying to stay. Okay, there we go. Never mind. He did get the engineering bay up. I remember. There you go. He's gonna be perfectly fine now.
Yeah, we can say he does have an eBay on up, but it looks like only a missile turret in the natural. I guess he's gonna look to hold the natural with the missile turret, a main with scans, and that's gonna be totally fine. Now, Special has not scouted any of this, by the way.
Nope.
But I guess it's just a little bit being safe. But actually, there is no scan in the main base. There we go. The 1 scan in the natural has been used. DTs will get saved, though. So Stats is going to look to dive on in just as soon as the scan wears off. You drop the DTs once again. Now the army starts going down. But it looks like we do have a missile turret coming on up in the main base. So no big deal. Stats actually going to get nothing done with this. So nice little bit of an advantage here for our Mexican Terran player. Although, realistically, the Koreans and a lot of people do consider Special to just be a Korean Terran at this point. He's been living in Korea for a while. I believe he's living with Armani right now. And, well, oh, we got an Archon drop coming in. This is pretty cool. This is a little bit of an innovation we've seen players do a little bit more often.
Yeah, and it really does work too, especially versus this 3-rack style. You can see how much damage has been taken by the Marines, by the Marauder, and there's no healing available because those medevacs are still about 15 to 20 seconds away. So that is damage that you're going to continuously be able to find. One more splash, and all of those Marines are dead. And the push that Special has been preparing for the last minute or so, yeah, that's not happening.
Absolutely. Now, it's even more important, or even more powerful in this instance, because there is no Raven, so you can't just disable the Warp Prism while the Archons are on the ground, and suddenly you just kill 2 Archons, you kill the Warp Prism. It's fine and dandy. But no, instead, because Special, he went for this 2-1-1 build, he doesn't have that. Yeah, he does have a powerful push coming on in. He will have Stim, Combat Shields, +1, and Concussive Shells. All will be done just around the same time. So he's going to have a powerful army to get something done with. But he has to get something done with it. That is the key here. As the Archon drop keeps getting more and more done. 4 workers have now died in total, but now the drop is going to be absolutely undetected here. 3 Starks are going to warp on in, but they don't have Blink yet. And now with the 1 Marauder with all these stimmed Marines, well, Special's maybe going to get something done. He just killed 2 workers off immediately, but now no. With the weapons here, he will be forced back. But 3 workers do go down, and well, he doesn't lose a whole lot. I think there are still a majority of the units from that medevac still there.
Yeah, and that's pretty good. He can heal up, kind of keep this threat here. I think that's going to be the most important thing. Just keep the presence out on the map, as we do see Stats going to be roaming around looking for that. The Warpism does see that medevac coming down towards the 3rd base. And you know what? I actually just noticed something. We do have Game Heart on this one. I am a happy, happy boy.
Oh, man. Thank you. I'm going to thank you, Special. Thank you, Stats, for doing that. That is fantastic. I mean, I cast it off of it and didn't even notice, but that is awesome. Now, unfortunately, Special, he had a Widowmine in like the absolute perfect position.
Didn't move it.
Just snapped down that War Prism and actually put himself in a fantastic position, but he moves it for a drop immediately. And I am sorry.
Okay.
Can you hear beeping sounds? I'll mute myself. We got an Amber Alert going on.
I don't worry, we can't hear it.
Okay. Good.
But you know what? We can hear the rush of adrenaline as Special going to be stimming right into the main base. Gets a kill on a couple of those pylons, making those shield batteries literal paperweights. We did get a nice little Widowmine drop into the natural as well while this was all going on. 11 workers going down. And, I mean, from here, Special is starting to get pushed back, but, I mean, the damage is already there. Those Widowmines... Go ahead.
Man, of course, on the other side, this is damage from Special. Absolutely it is. But it looks like eventually it's going to get cleared enough here. Now, we don't have charge yet, so these cells that get warped and aren't going to do anything. But this Archon drop is just doing ludicrous amounts of damage on the other side of the map as well. It's denying these 2 additional barracks. It has killed off the entire rally of Special at this point, and Special will be forced back. So, yeah, Stats lost some workers. Absolutely. I mean, 18 workers is a lot, but still, Stats is up 10 workers on his opponent. He's up an army supply. He will have charge and +1 soon. His Special was in almost such a position to break Stats to take the game, but instead that Archon drop actually just did so much. Stats did lose 1 Archon, but now, oh, there we go. The 2nd Archon will go down to the War Prism as well, and suddenly life's a little bit more safer. Life's a little bit safer. There we go for our Exxon Terran player. Of course, Ghost Academy just about done. The barracks are now getting finished on up, and it will be a 2-1 Terran against a +1 Protoss player. So that's always a little bit scary when you get the 2 upgrade lead continuously over the course of the game. Gateway already doesn't trade all that well, and when you're getting behind on upgrades, it trades even worse.
Yeah, and I mean, Stats isn't really transitioning off the back of this, having to remake that Warp Prism. Now, he does have Storm, which can be nice, but with the amount of ghosts coming out, keep in mind they don't have enhanced shockwaves yet, so not going to be at their best peak. But yeah, here we go. Special just kind of rotating around this base, going to find the Zealots, getting that nice little kill. And I mean, from here, he's not really been on the other side of the map since that last attack, so I'm liking how he's moving out.
Yeah, Special's army, it looks big. It absolutely does look big, but you gotta remember it's the same armor supply as stats. And does stats have storm?
He
Stats
does.
does have storm. Okay, four storms in a warp prism, and that's gonna be the attempt. But now EMP was gonna land on top of the majority of the armies. The first storm is going to be decent. It's not gonna be the perfect one just yet. And the second storm is actually kind of whiff a little. But with the additional storms coming in here, now Special's army is getting whittled away just a little bit. That last storm is actually gonna be so damn powerful. That is what Stats was looking for. The army of Special is gonna be beaten back. And this was an SCV pull, by the way. I guess the SCVs are coming on in a little bit later. A little bit hodgepodge. 20 workers have died because we got a warp in on the other side here. The third base has been forced to live. GG Stats. He's going to be able to take game number 1.
Yeah, kind of the expected results on there. The damage just kept coming, and it just kept coming. As we are going to be hopping into our second game of the day. Now, just a quick note, guys, in case we do go into a... wrong replay. I won't say how many games are played in either one because like we don't know for certain, but some of the replays are not completely listed as to what is game 1 and game 2 and game 3. So if we do go into the wrong game, we will be playing all games in a series. But yeah, just letting you all know that just in case. As we are going to be hopping into game number 2. I think Special made a lot of the right moves. He was getting ready for such a good position, but it was just that Archon drop, which really caught him off guard and really took him off his game. I feel...
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, unfortunately, yeah, it wasn't even the first Archon drop that passed. It was the Archon drop that caught the entire rally of Special in this tiny little choke, trying to deal with the Archon drop as Special was making that push. And it just knocked off the entire rally and killed off and delayed the production of 2 barracks. And that was the big deal. All right, the lack of production, the lack of rally, that meant the Special could not keep pile driving on in to kill off his opponent. And that just gives Stats just enough time to get on up into Storm, to get those High Templar, to get the 6 storms I think that he ended up having, and make the hold.
Indeed, and speaking of the storms, this guy is a storm of emotion. He is a storm of power. Give it up for the Afrika Freaks Stats.
And his opponent in the upper left, in the red for Team Exxon, he is Special. A very special player indeed.
Indeed, indeed. Now we do see it. What looks to be a little bit of a... I think that Rax is a little bit far from his main base there, BeoMulf.
You don't say. No, I'm pretty sure. See, I'm friends with some people, and they're of the opinion that as wherever you build your units is your base. So yes, is that far away from the command center? Absolutely, but Special's just building this barracks in his base. His base just happens to be closer to his opponent's base than it might normally be. Now, of course, this is not going to be the most Actually, you know what? Is he going to lift this? Okay, he's not. So TY has been doing a thing, and Special, of course, is very good friends with TY. TY has been doing this thing where he gets the first Reaper, and then he goes and lifts the barracks on into the natural, and that kind of that hidden spot, and you get a... There we go. There's the bunker. So actually, we may see this. It's the most ridiculous thing. It's pretty cool.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, you get the Reaper, and then you just drop the barracks literally right next to that bunker, and you start rallying Marines into the bunker, and then it's terrible. You got 4 Marines in a bunker at 3 minutes on into the game.
Oh, that's not entirely what I was thinking. I was thinking like what Maru did that one time. Basically, he threw down the racks over by the main base. He just lifted it off after the first Reaper and just pumped Marauders out onto his opponent. But right now, this is actually doing some good damage. 2 of those workers gonna go down. Maybe a third? No, the Reaper will get killed off. But
and that was a fairly significant miscontrol there from Special. I mean, he got himself trapped on in a mineral line patch. Nice job from Stats to recognize that, but that Reaper should have been so much more powerful than it was. Now, of course, we talk about structures being built where they normally aren't. Tell me, is there an additional gateway on the map?
There is, you know, a young European player would like to have a word with all this copyright infringement on his signature style. as we do have that first adept going to be coming on out. Probably going to bring that home to defend, it looks like, from that rally point. But this is a really scary situation for Special, as he doesn't really have a lot on the other side. He has that one Cyclone. We do have the Marines going to be trying to add in, but they are not going to be as powerful outside of their home. So yeah, I mean, interesting start.
Yeah, interesting indeed. Now, it's kind of funny. We talk about max packs. Everyone I talk to actually calls this the parting build that Stats is going for in this game. This is the build that he made powerful in Katowice. So when you get those 3 gates and you get that one proxy and you try to get something done with it. Of course, max packs did start with the proxy gateway in the natural, but this build is different enough that I think it's fair to call this one the parting build instead of just a knockoff max packs, because again, the way it's played is just it gets a natural, or it gets a natural nexus that much faster. The proxy is different. I think it's totally fair to call that the parting build instead. But regardless of what build it is called, Stats is going to do a really good job here, going to prevent Special from ever taking a natural. Now, Special not really showing any inclination for that, though, as this is a 1-1-1 behind. I guess a 2-1-1 behind this. There's a additional. Okay, the barracks was landed. That's pretty cool.
That is hilarious, actually. But now Stats is going to be able to finally clean this up. Might just barely keep that adept alive. 1 health. That is rage-inducing almost, as we do have the Cyclone going to be coming around, looking for a snipe on that pylon, just trying to slow things down. But I think Special, even though he is behind a base, even though he is not really going to be expanding anytime soon, I think he's pretty safe here, because he will have that second factory out with the siege tank, or the second siege tank out of that factory. He is still pumping out units on this side, and Stats not really trying to push any of these issues. Where did that Banshee go?
It's just sitting in the middle of the map waiting for Cloak to finish. Now, this is a bit of a problem, because yes, there is an observer out, absolutely, but the observer's on the other side of the map. So this Banshee's actually going to get a significant amount of damage done. We do have a second one on the way as well. Now, of course, the observer will get recalled, as will the Stalkers, but still, Stalkers, they don't have blinks, so the Banshee's just going to find the main base, and we're going to see more and more probes go down. Now, the Banshee will get taken down eventually. 5 workers do go down. It's not the end of the world. Ooh, getting the second one, though, that is a big problem.
Yeah, very small mistake. He did salvage the bunker at the top of the ramp as well, expecting... Oh, but the Adept's going to walk right into the Widowmine fire. That was a big connection. That's going to slow this down quite a bit. It looks like Special might have F2'd a little bit in order to get those Marines together. So, but he's going for a big push, and honestly, Stats doesn't really have a lot back at home. He's got Stalkers, but you know what absolutely melts Stalkers? Siege tanks.
I'm pretty sure it's SCVs, actually, Passer.
I don't know. Every single unit that is good with a Terran player starts with S, so they're all the same.
Actually, it's pretty funny, right? Where SCVs are surprisingly good against Stalkers, just considering how quickly Stalkers fire and everything. So in the terms of like usefulness of a citizen's arrest, it actually does tend to be SCVs tend to be pretty good. But anyway, we do have this push coming on up here. It is 3 tanks, it is a Banshee, and more importantly, it is some SCVs to repair the mechanical units. So we talked about things being powerful. Well, it looks like I'm right anyways, as SCVs are pulled to make this push coming on in here. Now, Special, I mean, look, he has to make this happen. He is as all in as you will see a player get at this point. But the Stalkers, they really can't take this fight. I mean, there are 3 tanks here now. The Cyclone's going to get targeted down, but unfortunately, shield battery overcharge, it is powerful, yes, but it is only so powerful. It only heals 1 Stalker at a time, and now it is done. Now it has been used. Special though.
Essentially, he's just trying to buy time to get out the immortal count, just to help him shoo away, but Special really not giving him that chance to. I gotta be careful with these siege tanks, because they could crush through your own marine line if you're not careful enough. The CVs as well, gotta be careful not to bring them too far forward. But now the shield batteries are down. Blink is under threat. There's not that many Stalkers left available to him. But Blink will finish the immortal, though. Is shooed so far back. Probes are being pulled. This is doing good.
Absolutely. Now I do like the ability to knock on in the rally here from Stats, as he does intercept things. But the Immortal did go down right here as that Hardened Shield was popped immediately. So the Natural is going down, and sure, Blink did complete. But you need enough Stalkers to make that actually worthwhile. Once again, the Stalkers marauding, doing their best to knock off the rally here, but with the tank siege done up, the Stalkers won't be able to get a whole lot. The Natural does go down. Shield battery overcharge pops before it does go down here, but that's kind of a wasted shield battery. And at this point, especially, he's up 16 army supply. He has how many tanks? He has 3 tanks on the map. And I don't really know how Stats is supposed to hold this at this point.
I like the thought process here, sending the Stalkers out to pick off the reinforcements, but that's a lot of Stalkers that is not defending your main base, which is completely under threat. Have to be so careful, though, as you do have a force field available at the bottom. Honestly, I'd say just send the Banshee in, YOLO them, get rid of that. And yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do, and now the top of the ramp is all his. But here we go. The Stalker's going to be coming around the back, blinking all over the place. Again, they just can't really take the fight anywhere that they want to. They did get rid of the siege tanks, though. Does he have enough? The shield battery overcharge saving his life.
Yeah, this is such a technical hold here from Stats. I mean, it feels like maybe Special still has an opportunity, but the longer this goes, it's certainly worse. But look at that. The Observer gets targeted down, which means that these Stalkers are absolutely now vulnerable to these Cloaked Banshees. And, you know, Stalkers are actually not all that great against Banshees when they cannot fire back. Banshees do fantastic damage against them. This Immortal is going to get targeted down. It cannot find the safety of a shield battery anymore. Yeah, there we go. It does go down. And I would love to see the Banshees just killing off more and more Stalkers. That's not what we see here, but as the Observer is now out and the Stalker, or the Banshees will be forced back. Now,
yeah,
it looks like the
little bit of an overextension, but that's fine. We do have that hit squad as well, crushing through a lot of the reinforcements of Special, who does still have the supply advantage. Stats down to 24 workers, but I mean, Special only has 18.
Granted, it doesn't really matter because neither Special is actually still mining efficiently out of his mineral patches that are left, and Stats is not. So an additional additional income or additional workers here from Stats actually means nothing whatsoever, as both players actually Special's mining more than Stats is at this point in the game. So yeah, it's a thing.
It's happening. Honestly, like, I would be very surprised if we saw a special expand, but I wouldn't doubt it with how crazy this game has been. It looks like Stats, though, looking to just go for the kill. As let's see if he can do it. The Observer gonna be in a very nice little location to allow them to jump in. The Rex.
Yeah, the bear. But of course, also, Special, once again, he is at widening that supply gap. It was getting pretty close for a little bit, but Special, once again, getting pretty close to doubling that supply. And, you know, honestly, I would not be surprised to see Special go on and lift his main base and move it to his natural and start mining from there. Because that's just the type of game this is. Now, we do have the 2 Banshees. They're going to go on a trip on the other side of the map here. And now the Marines will find the Stalkers here. Now, with the tanks, this has to be very careful because of the Blink Stalkers here. Marines will never fight that appropriately. So you need to make sure the tanks are sieged up in position to just do tremendous, tremendous damage. And that is the case.
Yeah, and you do need the 2 Banshees to deal with the shield battery in that main base. But there you go. A very big volley on those siege tanks. Going to crush through a lot of these Stalkers. And, I mean, Special, he's going to pull all of his SCVs. He's actually equal in terms of workers. But here we go. The Banshees rushing their way through. And honestly, I'm now very worried for Stats.
Absolutely. As that 8 more workers do go down. Now, Banshee does die in exchange. But now Stats sitting here on 16 workers. And he does have 2 bases. So at this point, losing workers is impactful again. Right? Because it's not like, I only have 4 mineral patches I can mine off of. It doesn't really matter. No, he just lost 6 workers when he actually could mine efficiently from 24 mineral workers and then, you know, the additional 12 gas. So that's actually could be able to mine a lot more than he has been, right? Unlike just previously. Now, the Stalkers, once again, they are doing a really good job of knocking off reinforcements. The tank does go down. Marine's not really getting a whole lot. So these 5 Stalkers are actually going to be a big thorn in the side of our Terran player. But you also got to remember, that means that there are 5 less Stalkers on the defense. And of course, the Raven will go down. The auto turrets will all go down here as well. But there are now 4 tanks. There are a bunch of Marines. There is a Stalker, or excuse me, there is a Banshee here as well. The tanks are just going to get some really fantastic sieged up positions. And actually, they're not even going to siege up. They say, look, we don't care. We're going to kill your natural off. Now, the Stalkers looks like two. Oh, wait, did the Overseer get targeted down? Or the Observer get targeted down?
No, it's still there. It's hanging out, but the question is there enough? The force field is absolutely whiffed. It's going to stop the siege tanks from coming on in, but they're just going to say, I'm going to siege up your ramp. Guess what? I don't care. I'm in range of that robo facility, and now going to focus fire that down. That's almost it, because there is still a Banshee in the sky.
That is absolutely it, right? Because there was no the Observer got targeted down. Stats did not target it or did not control it appropriately in that last push. There was no Observer on the map. There were cloaked Banshees. GG special. He's gonna put us on into game 3.
Okay, that was absolutely. You know what? That was an NA style of game, just very scrappy, very crazy. I think that was absolutely fantastic, bringing his own little style and actually able to pull out a win there. So good. So good.
So good.
So good.
So good.
I got the siege tanks.
Yeah, I'm sorry, everyone that's watching.
You know what?
Casting was a mistake. Life was a mistake.
You know what? It is still the morning. I am allowed to be a little bit crazy.
Is it the morning, or are we in morning for the amount of observers that died in that game?
I think we are. I'm not crying about them. You know, they're soulless robots. So you know, it's like crying when your toaster dies. All I wanted was some toast, BeoMulf. That's all I wanted.
Man, you're making me hungry. I want some toast. Anyways, game 3 will be on Death Thor here. Winner gets the top seeding in Group A. Or in Code A, excuse me. Loser, they don't. Why? I'm not exactly sure what Special's saying about that, but anyway. Anyway, spawning. Yeah, exactly. Let's get on into things. Spawning in the bottom right. In the blue, representing the Afrika Freaks, he is Stats.
And for Exxon, it is this guy in the top position. He is Special.
I'm not exactly sure whether... I wonder whether this was actually the first game of the series.
You know what? I'm not sure. He talked about very Gosu play, so he might be talking about that last game.
No, he said versus him, though. So, the player feels like TY Song. I think Special is talking about beating Bunny.
Maybe. You know, it's really hard to tell because I don't speak Korean, and even if I did, they actually did not label their... You know what? The only person who labeled their games as Game 1, Game 2, and Game 3 was Byun, which, thank you, Byun, if you're out there watching. Really appreciate it. You're awesome, my man. But, yeah. Every other game is in Korean, so I don't understand what's being said.
I think the Hurricane games got labeled as well. But that it's neither here nor there because this is instead Special versus Stats. And so we saw an absolutely crazy game last game. I can't really talk about whether that is crazy, how that's going to impact this game because I don't know whether that was game 1 or game 2. And I don't know whether this is game 1 or game 2 or game 3.
Who knows?
But anyway.
As long as one player wins, one player loses, that's all we care about.
2 enter, 1 leave.
Well, no, both of them technically leave. We're still working on, you know, the legislation. We can't kill them yet. It's kind of a big part of our contract, not killing the players.
Fair. But we do have a proxy coming on in here from Stats pretty early on. I don't think this is a gate because, I mean, look, it's on the other side of the rocks. But I guess, you know, you still have the power field on the far side, so maybe we're going to see that here. But once again, Stats not going for it yet as he, I guess, saves up some money. There we go. So, yeah, it will be a Stargate, but it's just going to be a proxy Stargate for an Oracle. No Void Rays, no shenanigans like that. Man, you can tell I've just been absolutely ruined by all the different proxy gateways because, I mean, that's very obvious. proxy
It is.
starport or Stargate at the end of the day, and I'm like, what in the world is this gonna be? It's gonna be a gate. It's gonna be. I'm like, no, it's just an obvious Stargate. But we got a proxy star.
Yeah, speaking of proxy star buildings, we do have that starport coming on in, so this is going to be a little bit of a Hellion drop build. The Adept as well, just kind of going past that bunker. Did he kill the Marines? No, because the Marines weren't there because Special's putting all his money into the Hellions early on. So we are going to have the Oracle come out. I don't want to say this is a build order disadvantage at all, but this is going to be a little bit hard to deal with the Oracles now.
Well, you know what? You may not want to say that, but I will, because there is nothing that can deal with these Oracles. They're just not. There are like 2 Marines on the map right now. We're actually not seeing any more. Yeah, there is no way for this Oracle to be handled whatsoever. The Oracle is now going to find its way on in. Of course, it's going to hit the main base around 3:45, and there are 2 Marines. There are no Widow Mines. This Oracle is just going to get away scot-free. Targeting the pulsar beams on. 1 Marine goes down, 2nd Marine goes down, and there's just no anti-air anymore. So we're going to see so many SCVs get targeted on down here. Now, of course, the question is whether Special can get some counter damage as well. 4 Hellions in the medevac will drop on that. But of course, with the Adepts here, actually, they'll be able to target these Hellions down pretty easily. 2 workers go down immediately, and that's going to be just about it for the time being. Now, I'm surprised that Oracle did not get more than 5, but he only have so much energy. And there we go. Hellions, they are staying alive for the moment, not getting a whole lot done yet. And now with the Phoenix on the map, well, the magic number is 8.
Well, there you go. He got the magic number plus a little bit extra for insurance purposes, getting 11 kills for their threat, and it looks like he's still going to be flying around, maybe getting 1 additional one. Negatory on that. The Phoenix, oh my god. Did you just see that? The Widow Mine just barely not going off.
Yeah, I saw that. It's kind of funny, right? So, in drops, right, the magic number, you want to, if assuming you don't lose any workers across the map, the magic, if you get more than 8 workers, you're happy. If you get less than 8 workers, you're very sad. And what in the world is getting workers in the natural? Is that a Widow Mine? Oh no, it's a landed Viking harass. Of all the things.
Well, hey, it's a lot of indirect damage as well. Just because you're not mining off those mineral patches, you're losing a couple of probes, so it's really good for Special there. It's just got to deal with this.
Absolutely, but you got to remember, Special did lose 5 workers earlier on. What was that? A armory that was canceled?
I believe it was an engineering bay, but I'm not 100% certain.
Okay, yeah, there's the eBay getting started on up. I was like, man, dude, are we doing some weird armory thing? But that's not exactly the play coming on in here. As there are a decent amount of Adepts on there, I'm trying to get something done. They will be unsuccessful. But again, you got to remember, while Special got, how many workers did he get? Well, Special got 15 probes. He has lost 10 SCVs. So that number, right, of eight probes that you want to get, or 8 probes you want to get to break even, the number is more like 18 now, because Special lost 10. You kind of want that equalizing factor. And considering Special got 15, not quite as much as he would like. And actually, is this? Yeah, the starport is getting started, is burning by some Phoenix, which is not something you see all that often. There we go. It will go down. Jeez.
Yeah, that's pretty bad because not going to be any additional medevac support, so any sort of push is going to be delayed. Any sort of healing energy is going to be gone. Oh, okay, so he has been remaking it. I like that. That's very forward-thinking. Good job, Special. But, I mean, from here, he's still on 2 bases, while Stats is going to be getting up his own 3rd. He's going up to what looks to be Charge Lot Storm. And he will have roughly similar upgrades. Not completely 1-to-1, because he's going for armor rather than attack. But still, I mean, Stats is doing a good job of doing this soft contain.
Absolutely. 1 base, 2 base, red base, blue base is the nursery rhyme that we get on in here. But especially he's adding those 2 additional barracks, going on up to 5 barracks off of 2 bases. So he's going to look to hit a really powerful timing and just really looking to punish the Phoenix style. Now, Phoenix styles, they're very powerful. They give you this fantastic opportunity to A, establish map control, and B, have this fantastic defensive play if you need it. But if the Terror just goes up to 5 barracks, it's a lot of Marines, just kind of stims on in. The Phoenix can't do a whole lot. And, well, maybe there's not a whole lot you can do. That being said, though, Stats, he's kind of realized what's happening here. In part because there's no 3rd base here from Special. He's adding 3 additional gateways. He's getting Storm. He's getting Charge. He's getting +1 armor. And this army that Special is going to look to try to make use of, well, it's not going to be all that great against Charizard Immortal Archon. Or Charizard Archon, I guess. Charizard Archon Storm. Because, I mean, look, it's just Marines.
Very ballsy play with the Phoenix. Not really going to work out for him. He does lose 2 of them. And even though he is going to lose a couple of additional SCVs, Special just says, you know what? You can have them. I don't need them. That's going to be a lot less energy for you across the map when you do decide to siege up. You do want to keep some of that Phoenix energy to deal with the siege tanks. And Storm just completed. Let's see what he can do. He is down almost 30 army supply. Scan's going to come in as well, revealing where the army is not. I think he just barely misses it with that scan. But here we go. First position. Beautiful.
And you also got to remember, this is an SCV pull against the Storm tech. Oh, these storms are just disgusting. The army of Specials evaporating. You talked about, well, actually, the supply lead's still not all that significant. It's still there for Special at this point. But most of the SCVs have gone down here. The SCV pull not all that impactful. And look at this. We're seeing a bunker. We're seeing bunkers coming up here. That's pretty cool. Now, of course, the Zealots will get on top of things. The tanks are free firing, but they're not going to get anywhere near what they need to get done here. Zealots getting on top of things. The last tank's going to get lifted, and it's just a bunch of Marines. And yeah, sure, Marines are good. But are they good enough? As the supply gap, well, it's still 33.
Yeah, I mean, he has 1 Storm still available to him, and those siege tanks not really going to be able to do a lot versus Zealots. Oh my god. Everything just went as red as his skin, as we do have those Zealots finally going to be able to clean this up. I think that's almost it for Special. We're going to have to see if he can do anything with the last pull, but it's just SCVs. It's just 1 more siege tank, and he's only making 6 Marines, 1 Liberator versus Archons, Zealots, Blink, +1, etc., etc. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. Oh, the humanity, as the Charizards will come on in. Once again, the siege tank's going to get lifted, and that means it doesn't matter at all whatsoever. GG Stats is going to take the series 2-1. He's going to put himself in that top pot of Code A.
I think